Studios, and joining us now, Brian Flowers, candidate for Mississippi's 2nd Congressional District, Republican candidate.
That's right.
Yeah. And welcome, Brian.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thanks for coming in. So, when is the primary? Make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, we need everybody to get out. It's June 7th. So please make plans now. If you need to take a little bit of extra time from work, whatever, we got to get everybody out to vote.
Yep, and we should explain the 2nd Congressional District is, of course, currently held by Representative Benny Thompson, Democrat.
Unfortunately, yes.
Who else is running on the Republican ticket in the primary? You have some opponents?
I do. I've got 3 opponents. There's Ron Eller, Stafford Johnson, and Michael Carson.
Okay.
All 3 brand new, first-time out candidates.
Because you've run before for this seat,
Once before, yes.
Okay,
I ran last election against Benny Thompson, received over 101,000 votes.
Right. And, of course, with redistricting, the district has changed somewhat.
We have grown. District 2 lost 65,000 people.
Yeah.
And to make up for the 65,000 people, we ended up taking in the bottom 4 counties, Emmett, Franklin, Wilkerson, and Adams County. And many of them, what I was talking to you just a minute ago, many of them don't even know they're in Benny Thompson's district now.
And so it had to expand geographically because of the loss of population. And how far north does it go?
It stayed the same as far north.
Okay.
It goes all the way up to Tunica. So you got from Tunica now all the way down to Wilkerson and Emmett counties, and as far east as Leake and Atala. So, and takes in portions of Hinds County, or a large portion of Hinds County. There's a small portion that didn't get incorporated in it. There's many parts that have been gouged out, like Madison County. Madison County has 5 districts within itself. 1, 2, and 3 go to Michael Guest. 4 and 5 go to Benny Thompson.
Yeah. So Benny has been in office for quite some time.
28 years.
That's what I thought. And he is the ranking member of the House Homeland Security Committee at this point. Why do you think he keeps getting reelected in that district? And what would you say to voters who continue? Obviously, most of them, historically, since he's been in office, have voted for him versus the Republican candidate. What do you tell them? Why do you think he gets reelected, and what do you tell those voters?
I think a lot of it has to do with fear and intimidation. I talked to during the last election when I was up around Water Valley, places like that. I was talking to many people, especially in the black community, things like that. And it was basically, they'll know that we didn't vote for him. That was the first thing out of their mouth. They don't agree with it. They don't agree with him. They're in fact quite tired of it. But they have been intimidated to the point where they're scared to death that they're going to find out that they didn't vote for Benny and they're going to come and do something to him. And I think that what is happening now and this year is everybody is so sick of this, they're willing to make that step. They're willing to take that chance. Regardless if it's true or not, it's true to them.
Yeah.
So they're willing to overcome that and go against it.
So when you meet with them, what do you tell them as far as how you would be different than Benny Thompson were you to be seated to represent the 2nd Congressional District?
Well, see, and I tell everybody this. My campaign is colorblind, meaning we don't care, or I don't care about white, black communities. I don't care what color you are. I'm here to serve the people of District 2, not just a specific race or a specific group. And that seems to be resonating, and telling them, like, look, tell me what is wrong. Let me know what you have issues with, and I will do everything I can to help curb that and mitigate that problem.
Okay. Do any of them ever say, well, yeah, I think you would be better than Congressman Thompson, and therefore I'm going to vote for you?
There's many of them that have come forward, especially out of Jackson, Mississippi. We've met with a couple of influential black leaders in the community over there, and they're out right now talking to people And people are willing to start to get on camera and actually say that. So we're actually making a lot of different progress in the Hinds County area, and we're going to be expanding out to all the other different counties.
Yeah. How's the funding for the campaign going?
Really good. We've had quite a bit of max donors come in, max donations anybody would like to give, and the FEC regulations, $2,900 a person. So, and that's per cycle.
Yep.
But basically, we've had several max donations come in. We've had a lot of $5 donations, $10 donations, the small,
sure,
whatever people can afford. And to be honest with you, with inflation the way it is right now, anybody that's willing to be able to give and say, you know what, we have got to have a change, that is to be commendable on its own.
Yeah.
And if you can't give, as far as money, volunteer your time.
Yeah. What's your background, Brian?
Prior military. I actually grew up in North Carolina, a little small town, just like many of the small towns here in the 2nd Congressional District. Population in my hometown was only 500 people. So after high school, I went into the military. I served 10 years in the Navy. I was actually stationed in Norfolk, Virginia when 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And just as I'm sure everybody agrees, that was not a fun day, especially for the military. But my second ship was the USS John C. Stennis, which I find funny. I'm running for Congress here in Mississippi. But on board the Stennis is a little bit special to me. That's where I met my wife. She was an electrician. I was a mechanic. And we got married in 2005 and been married for 17 years. After the military, I got out in 2008 and got into commercial nuclear and worked my way down here. I currently work out at Grand Gulf Nuclear Station, where I serve as the flex marshal. Basically, I maintain a program that is the emergency equipment in case we have a really, really, really bad day like Fukushima did back in 2011.
Wow. Interesting. So what possessed you to run for Congress, and what do you think are your top issues, or what are the voters telling you their top issues are?
The reason I ran for Congress, or I'm running for Congress and I decided to run last time, was my kids.
Okay.
I've got 3 teenage daughters. They're still in the school system. I started looking at how the school systems are being taught right now, and they're not up to par. Nothing like what you and I went through when we were taught. I think our quality of education was much better than what they're getting now. And I started really taking a look at all the other school districts throughout the 2nd Congressional District. Many of them are failing, not a C, not a D. No, they're failing. And we are failing our children and failing the next generation of leaders by not doing something about it. In my opinion, the federal government, the U.S. Department of Education, should be taken completely out of the question, right? You need to remove that out of the equation and quit allowing the federal government to dangle that carrot over the school district's head. Hey, we'll give you extra money if you go and do this for us, or if you run this program.
Right.
So my kids, and it's grown. It's not, my kids are originally why I jumped into this, but it's grown to not my kids, but everyone's children, their grandchildren, their nieces, their nephews. Those are our leaders. Those are the ones that are coming up to take our place, and we need to make sure that we give them the strongest possible foundation to do so. And that's one of my staples of running, is education, jobs, and infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, I'm not talking about the Green New Deal and all that. No, real infrastructure, roads, bridges, our ports up and down the Mississippi River, our railways, our airports. Infrastructure, not a brand new FBI building or new FA-18s. Okay?
Gotcha.
We need to get this country back up and running. And what I keep telling everybody is you get education and you get infrastructure put into place and you get that squared away, the jobs will come. It will take a little bit of nudging from somebody like me and bringing people in, but the infrastructure will be there, the education will be there, you'll have trained personnel somewhere that these companies can come in, and that's not just corporate companies. I'm talking about giving small business owners incentives to come up and start their own business.
I'm with you. Just got just a couple of seconds here left. Quick question is the infrastructure bill, the $1.2 trillion bill that passed the House and Senate last year. Would you have supported that? Would you have voted for
Absolutely not. It's full of all kinds of fluff. That's what I was saying. We need real infrastructure.
Gotcha.
We don't need all the extra fluff that goes along with it. You've
Gotcha.
got 6 and 7 bills inside of one.
Yep. Got you. Brian, appreciate you coming in, and good luck to you. Brian Flowers is candidate for Mississippi's 2nd Congressional District. Has been our guest here on Middays. Take care, Brian.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Yep. We'll step aside for a break right here on Middays. We'll get right back.